Hey, are you lost?
A boy pedals across the plains and hears a faint, pained sound. What would you do if you found a wild animal in need? He slows, peering into a shallow ditch. Can you spot what's hiding there? Cautiously leaning closer, the grass sways. Have you ever felt fear mixed with curiosity? Amber eyes appear from the shadows. Would you lock eyes with a wild lion alone? He reaches for a small treat. Would you try to gain trust this way? The lion doesn't eat, only looks pleadingly. Do you notice it needs help? The paw is injured, blue fluid visible. Could it survive alone? His fear turns to compassion. Have you felt such connection? The lion tries to stand but cannot. What would you do first? He kneels carefully, giving space. Why is patience key? He calls for help, using an old phone. Who would you trust here? Headlights appear as rescuers arrive. Preparation matters, right? Mark, the ranger, steps out with the vet. How would you calm a wild animal? The boy guides them. Observation first, action second. The lion lies weak but alert. How would you feel so close? Mark reaches for a tranquilizer. The vet stops him. Why? They prepare a net and truck. Equipment matters. The lion is lifted. Can you stay calm like this? The truck drives off, dust swirling, anticipation builds. A sandstorm rises. How do you handle sudden challenges? The lion breathes shallow but steady. Can you see stress versus calm? The boy holds a blanket. Why do gestures help animals? Mark secures the lion. Teamwork matters, right? Nearing field station.
No.
Perseverance matters. The lion is carried into a field clinic. Do you see how coordination matters? The vet prepares to remove a metal piece. Would you stay calm? The lion flinches. The team remains gentle. Patience is vital. Mark supports the lion. Focus is crucial. Fragment removed, paw bandaged. Small victories count. Night monitoring continues. Vigilance saves
stay
lives.
Calm. We're not going to hurt you.
The boy sneaks his blanket close.
Slow.
Empathy heals.
Keep it level,
Mark
steady.
stays awake, watching breathing. Why is presence as important as action? Sarah checks vitals and logs details. How does careful observation help recovery? The lion recognizes familiar scents. Trust builds gradually. Days pass, and the lion stands with support. What role does patience play? The boy watches joyfully. Can hope inspire both humans and animals? The lion stares toward mountains. Why do animals long for home? Mark contacts authorities for safe transport. Do you see why habitat matters? Townspeople gather with supplies. What role does community play? The helicopter arrives. rotors slicing the air. Have you noticed how anticipation builds even in calm moments? The lion steps calmly into the cage. Why is minimal stress important? Mark extends a reassuring hand. Can gestures ease anxiety? The lion observes the plains below. Does it understand the journey? The team watches silently. Have you felt awe at an animal's resilience? Mild turbulence shakes the cabin. How does steady presence influence reactions? The lion opens its eyes fully, alert but calm. Can you sense its growing confidence? Mark approaches slowly without a weapon. Why does non-threatening behavior matter? The lion recognizes Mark's scent and relaxes. Notice how trust builds. Sarah steps back, letting Mark hold the lion's attention. Why respect focus? The lion leans slightly toward Mark. Notice subtle signs of trust. It glances toward the window, observing green plains below. Have you ever seen a wild animal take in its surroundings so thoughtfully? A low growl escapes, a subtle sigh of relief. Can you feel its emotional release? The lion lies beside Mark's legs. How does proximity create calm? Mark keeps steady. Why is consistency important? Sarah stabilizes the harness. How does teamwork build trust? Cooper watches quietly. Why is observation without interference important? The lion lowers ears, recognizing familiar scents. How do sensory cues influence trust? Mark whispers, almost home. Can words convey reassurance? The lion leans slightly toward Mark. Trust builds. Sarah steps back, giving Mark full attention. Why does positioning matter?
It's okay, buddy. You're gonna be just fine. We're right here with you.
The lion approaches the window, observing plains. How do animals process new landscapes? A soft, sigh-like growl escapes. Can you sense its emotional release? It lies down beside Mark, calming the helicopter.
He's beginning to recognize our
How
scents.
does physical proximity reinforce
familiarity seems
trust?
to calm him.
Mark maintains steady hand and posture. Why does calm behavior matter? Sarah continues monitoring harness. How does careful observation support trust? Cooper observes silently. Have you noticed the power of quiet attention? Days later, the lion stands in the recovery area. How does gradual rehabilitation strengthen body and trust? Cooper watches as it walks confidently. What role does encouragement play? Sarah logs progress. Why is consistent monitoring critical? The lion looks to distant mountains. Why do animals long for their habitat? Mark notices its longing. How do humans interpret animal behavior cues? Authorities arrange helicopter transport. Have you considered the logistics of safe relocation? Townspeople provide support. How can communities help wildlife? The helicopter lands. How does preparation affect success? The lion enters the
I
cage
agree.
calmly.
His
Why is
vitals are
minimal
good, but
stress essential?
he's clearly
Mark
homesick and
gestures
exhausted.
mid-flight. Subtle reassurance works. The lion observes below. Perspective matters. Turbulence shakes the cabin. Steady presence calms. The lion opens eyes fully, alert yet calm. Notice balance between attention and relaxation. Mark approaches calmly, projecting non-threat. Trust builds. The lion recognizes familiar scent, relaxing. Sensory cues help animals feel secure. Sarah steps back, giving Mark focus, attention respected. The lion leans slightly, trust visible. It glances toward the window, awareness clear. A low, relieved growl escapes, comfort expressed. It lies beside Mark, calming the helicopter. Proximity reassures. Mark remains calm. Why is consistent demeanor critical? Sarah stabilizes harness, trust maintained. Cooper observes, quiet matters. Lion lowers ears, recognizing scent. Sensory cues vital. Mark whispers, almost home. Words reassure. The lion leans toward Mark, trust reinforced. Sarah steps back, focus respected. Lion moves to window, assessing terrain. Low growl escapes. Emotional relief. Lies beside Mark, calm established. Mark steady. Reassurance continues. Sarah stabilizes harness, safety maintained. Cooper observes, quiet attention counts. Lion lowers ears, sensory cues vital. Mark whispers, almost home. Words reassure. Lion leans toward Mark, trust reinforced. Sarah steps back. Mark holds attention. Lion moves to window, observing plains. Soft growl. Relief noted. Lies beside Mark, calm secured. 1 year later, amid drought, Lion redirects elephants to protect Cooper and town. Instinct matters. At sunset, on a high rock, Lion looks back once, then walks into plains. Mark says, kindness is the language that all creatures understand. All videos on this channel are original productions created for educational storytelling about animal rescue and compassion. AI-assisted tools may be used during parts of the creative workflow, but the final work is shaped through human writing, human editing, human review, and original storytelling decisions. This content is not re-uploaded from other creators, not repurposed without transformation, and not assembled from reused material for repetitive monetization. Each upload is intended to stand as a distinct, original, value-added piece of content.